taken about 4,000 hours to build, it's going to take me about 4 minutes to tell how well they've built it. First impressions are, they've done a pretty solid job. It's great to hear that air-cooled note from the back. 360 horsepower to play with, a little bit of understeer there. I was concerned they put larger tyres on the rear than I really want. The balance is immediately predominantly understeer, pushing me wide. It's the bank turn. Grip, 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 feed in the power. Front left fighting's beginning to fight. But it's quite impressive how confident I can be so quickly for this car. Whoa, 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 steady, Tim, steady, 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 steady. The resto modifications are impressive, but it's not as easy to drive as a current 911. The steering is heavier and the handling less finely tuned. Whoa, whoa, fighting! But thanks to all that weight-saving carbon fibre bodywork, it's light and agile and responds instantly if you grab it by the scruff of the neck. Come on! It's like riding a fucking bronco out of that corner. Up to 7,000 RPM. Brake deeply. I tell you what, this really is a car. I'd love to race around this track. It's confidence-inspiring. It's feisty. It's flipping hard work. This street course, as they call it, has really been a great test for this 911. It's standing up to lap after lap of heavy braking, big power sliding, and twitchy moments. Next up is the Icon.
Look.
Funny how 450 horsepower makes you instantly more confident. It's got some wonderful grunt, this thing, hasn't it?
Yeah, torque is your friend. Hard left before the pylons, preferably.
Whoa, 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 whoa. This is your playground.
Use the right foot. I thought you were a race car driver.
I'm a race car driver. I'm not one of these.
Hard left.
This special edition celebrates the 40th anniversary of Toyota's first ever off-road win when an FJ took the famous Baja 1000 desert race from California to Mexico. It's hard not to channel some of that excitement even today.
Oh, put your foot in it, son. Oh, the hard way.
Like a big hill. Oh, I love the sound of it. Wow, wow, wow.
Like a rodeo, just keep your hips loose.
Yeah. What gears?
High or low range?
Low
Lock
range.
goes on for the gnarly
What,
grade.
so everything's locked?
Everything's low, you're 87 to 1 crawl ratio.
No. Ah.
And you made the course.
Whoa.
Oh, there we go. In 2 minutes and 16.3 seconds, lad.
People do this for fun.
Oh, yeah, all day.
The car's more than 40 years old and, with a better power-to-weight ratio than a current-day 911, being allowed behind the wheel is a rare privilege. I'm going to test it on a road I've always dreamt of driving. Once you've escaped the urban sprawl of Los Angeles, we're better to go for a bit of a feisty drive than the snake pass of Mulholland Drive through the Santa Monica Mountains. Mulholland is one of the most famous stretches of tarmac in California. Built in the 1920s, it was a favourite haunt of car lovers James Dean and Steve McQueen. Today it's popular with car enthusiasts and bikers from all over the world. Now I can really appreciate what this 911 is all about. And it's all about a good old-fashioned 911. The great thing about resto modding is that you make a car for your own individual taste. And obviously Magnus likes to sit on the floor, and he also doesn't like to put in air conditioning. No power steering, no power assistance to the brakes. This is good old-fashioned heavyweight work, but the good thing about heavyweight work is it brings back all the sensations of what driving used to be. Yes, the steering's heavy, but it also means you can feel every bump and ripple of the road. Yes, the brakes are heavy, but you can modulate them so much more easily. But this snake pass just goes on But on, I think I might get a bit of third gear sometime soon. Things that are fun to do shouldn't be easy to do. And this isn't easy. And now, 1,000 horsepower is all mine. This is going to get me into trouble. I've got 6,500 revs on the clock. Long digit. Whoa, 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 bit of body rubbing in there. Whoa, 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 spoiler, spoiler. Hedges, hedges, hedges.
The Shelby Mustang it's based on costs a bargain $68,000, but the mods rack up to $150,000. The payoff, 0 to 60 in just 2.5 seconds.
Of course, it's not just power and brakes they've done here. They've transformed the suspension. It's got new shockers. It's got stiffer anti-roll bars. And really, for a stiff car, it's amazing how well it's taking the uneven undulations of this wild country road. I love changing gear. I'm not flapping pedals, I'm changing gear. When I open the throttle wide, a little green light comes on just ahead of me on the dashboard. That's telling me that the methanol has been injected into the cylinders. Because when it's producing 1,000 horsepower, it needs that to keep the cylinder temperatures from melting point. And it just surges forward, really, whatever gear you're in, it just gets quicker and quicker. Well, this is certainly quite an animal. It's big, it's brutish, it's very American.
I was worried that this car would just be a headline grabber, all power and no finesse. But I'm happy to be proved wrong. This monster has actually left me with a bigger grin than a Bugatti Veyron.
The Prindyville Edition Defender, in collaboration with Alive Tuning, costs a whopping £52,000. That's more than twice as much as a standard Defender. To see if it really can turn 6 decades of off-road tradition on its head, I'm taking it far, far out of its comfort zone. I'm hunting down a good driving road to see if this 4x4 that was first designed over 60 years ago can handle the demands of a 21st century petrolhead. But first I want to check that it can still roll up its sleeves. Even though this Defender was tuned for the tarmac, it should be able to get to places other luxury cars can't get to. Across a river, for example. Now this has got a low ratio and a diff lock, but I don't think I'm going to need it. It is 5 centimetres lower than a normal Defender though, and it has got much bigger and wider 18-inch tyres. But we seem to be going across very well indeed. Excellent. And on with the road test. Under the bonnet is a modified version of the standard Land Rover Defender's engine. It's got a larger intercooler, a remapped ECU and a sports exhaust to boost power from a standard 122 to a rather more potent 175 bhp. It's got sports seats which give a much more comfortable driving position and a little bit more legroom, and a really small racing car's steering wheel, which I have never seen in a Defender before. So, does all that make it more usable than a normal Defender? Time for a closer look. This is what Defender drivers usually endure. An arm rubbing against the door, nowhere close to rest your elbow. A steering wheel the size of a satellite dish, lots of hard plastic and the odd exposed screw head. Compare that to the new one. This is more like it. Super soft leather with stitched piping, shiny, touchy-feely plastics, tactile roof and thick padded elbow rest that I can actually reach. This feels less like a UN vehicle going into a war zone and more like an actual car.
This week the team are testing the Jaguar XF Sport Brake. It's the brand new estate version of Jaguar's XF Executive